It's a funny old game, football, isn't it? We have probably one of the worst weeks under Eddie Howe, conceding 7 goals and only scoring 1, with fans at each other's throats on social media, panic stations amongst the masses. But in a week where we have, again, 3 matches, a cup quarter-final, Fulham at home, and most importantly, AC Milan at St James's Park, things could look very different again. And to be honest, in one of the biggest games in our recent history at St James's Park, not only do we have a responsibility to make some noise, the message is clear. Let's get into these spaghetti-eating Italians and send them home packing. The AC Milan match preview is coming up, Newcastle fans, so do us a favour and make sure you stick around. Because I just wasted some spaghetti for this video, so please at least stick around for a couple of minutes. Welcome back to Black and White Banter, you lovely Newcastle fans. As Christmas is rearing its head, I hope all is well. I hope the shopping is almost done. I hope you are almost finished work. I wish I was. And yes, as I said at the start of this video, it hasn't been a very good week supporting Newcastle. I was going to do a last word video, and there was a lot of issues I wanted to talk about, which might have got turned into a bit of a rant, and sometimes I rein myself back in. I think, Matthew, don't make that video. Because, as I said, fans have been at each other's throats since them 2 results. It's Newcastle social media since the takeover, when we lose football matches, is the most bizarre place on earth. Whether it's Dubravka being the main reason we lost, whether it's Lascelles suddenly going from looking absolutely class in Botman's place to now being absolutely terrible. Whether it's panic stations, why is Eddie Howe not playing more players? Why is Lewis Hall not playing? Questioning him. The atmosphere, the fans, what's happening to away atmospheres, which I think is a problem, but it's just meltdown. And there was a lot of things I wanted to get off my chest, but I thought, no, AC Milan on Wednesday, absolutely huge game. But before we get into that, Newcastle fans, do us a little favour, whack that little likey Lou. Give us a subscribe if you like this. I've hit 4,000 subscribers. 4,000 subscribers. Imagine that. 4,000 people want to listen to the absolute shite that I talk on videos. Honestly, that's mad. And to a lot of people watching this, you might laugh and think, well, other Newcastle YouTubers have got 30,000, 40,000. Hey, 4,000 people's a canny big room. If I invited all them into Shearer's Bar, I don't think there'd be enough room for them. So that's amazing. So thank you very much. I think it's over 4,000 now. It might be like 4,003. That 5,000 now seems so far off. But hey, it's a bonus. It's all a bonus. I like doing this because I'm talking about my passion, and if people follow me along the way, then fantastic. So whack that subscribe if you like this. So here we go. And the rallying call is pretty clear. I've just finished watching the chief from War Flags giving his message, asking people to bring their scarves. And it's win or bust. It is Newcastle United win a football match at St James's Park, and we continue playing European football in the new year. That is how significant this night at St James's Park is. Forget your Man Uniteds, forget your cup games. This is the highest level of football in Europe, and we are in the group of death going into it with all the injuries, all the matches that we were told was going to be too much of a problem. The Mbappés, you know, the Milans, the PSGs, the Dortmunds, the group of death, Newcastle. It is in our own hands. Not for Champions League. We know it's not. We need Dortmund to do us a favour over in Germany for it to be Champions League in our own hands. But European football with Europa League and that third spot, which, by the way, I would be absolutely delighted with. There's even an argument that Newcastle have a chance of winning the Europa League if we went down into that competition. So, depends where your thoughts lie on that one. Most fans, me included, would like to stay in the Champions League because, God, we could bloody draw Real Madrid away. But it's huge. It is. And the fact that there's some, and I say some in inverted commas because it is just some, the fact that there's some Newcastle fans suggesting they would prefer to go out of this competition tonight to reduce the fixture congestion is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm going to say that to anyone watching this video. If you think that Newcastle not going further in European competition is a good thing for the football club, you are absolutely bonkers. And you can get in the comments and we will discuss it in the comments like polite football fans with different opinions, but my God, that's a ridiculous opinion. So, where do I think this one lies after what we've witnessed? Look, Everton wasn't good. It wasn't the worst Everton. It was it was errors. It was in a time when we hadn't been fantastic, but they changed the game completely. They did. That was done. Then we went on to Tottenham, which I was worried about. Tottenham wasn't good enough. And yes, we can talk about fatigue. Yes, we can talk about this and that. The basics weren't good enough. The energy levels. I agree with Alan Shearer to a degree. If anyone's watched his opinions, he doesn't like the word fatigue being thrown around a million times by Newcastle fans. And if it was a drinking game to spot the word fatigue on Newcastle social media, have a drink every time you do, you'd be mortal after 10 minutes of flicking. And we know why, because we've got no substitutes bench. And we knew the fixtures were going to be there at the start of the season. Everybody talked about it being a problem. But Tottenham was not good enough. And going into this match, I think this is a totally different kettle of fish. That's my good feeling. Sorry, my dog. I don't know whether you can see her. My dog is trying to get involved in this video today. She's looking for some attention, I think. It's a totally different kettle of fish. And the reason I say that is because, as the War Flags rallying cry said, St James's Park on nights like this can be absolutely rocking. And that PSG match, I don't think the scoreline will obviously be the same. That'll be one of the most memorable atmospheres I've ever been through. I've ever sat through. It was incredible. And we are such a 12th man. And that 12th man is why I think this is different. Because look at our home form. Formidable. AC Milan, I watched the footage of them looking around St James's Park on Tuesday night. Bit rainy, bit cold. Injuries themselves, which we'll touch on in a second. There is no reason we cannot win this football match, because I tell you what I'm seeing a theme with Newcastle and the group of players that we have, the Gordons, the Brunos, the Joe Lintons, who are really passionate footballers. The first 10 minutes of the match is crucial, and that's from us as well. I have a responsibility in that stadium to make sure that the first 10 minutes are exactly where they should be, atmosphere-wise, cheering every slide tackle, roaring the lads on, spinning the scarf, spinning my pants if I have to. And we know what happens. Everyone remembers the footage of Anthony Gordon charging down the PSG defender, and it's been shared a million times. Look what Newcastle fans are like. Look how mad they go over the smallest thing. And it's true. And that's what we need on Wednesday if we're going to win the football match. That is what we need to get over the line. And I think we will bring that. Dortmund, for whatever reason, I think it's because Dortmund quietened us so early in the match. Dortmund wasn't the same as PSG atmosphere-wise. It just wasn't. It was. We all talked about it after, but we have such a key part to play. Now, on the pitch, I said AC Milan have got injuries. Unfortunately, it looks like Mr. Rafael Leao, who's probably their best player, and he did terrorise us in the first game, he's going to be past fit for this one. He has been injured. I believe he's travelled. So that's a real kick in the balls, because without him, AC Milan are a very different side. And you know, Theo Hernandez, who's generally regarded as one of their best players at left-back, he's been playing centre-back with Tomori, who we all know, the Englishman. He might have to play there again because of injuries. So they do have problems themselves. And I'm not, to be honest, we look back to the game in AC Milan, I'm not going to focus on that one too much as a precedent. Yes, we've already played them, we know what they're about. But if you think about what that Milan game looked like, it was them all over us. Our first ever game in the Champions League for 20 years. The occasion, the atmosphere, the stadium, you name it. So I'm not comparing the two, and I'm not going to do that on this video. I think that's silly. We've had different, lots of things happen since then. Milan have. They've got injuries. We've got injuries. I just think, my good feeling, and I hate to say this on a video, because there's probably an Italian going to jump on this if the result goes the other way, like I do with my Dealing with Eddie Howe's Mags episodes. I have a good feeling that things are going to click for us tonight. And the question then is, can Dortmund do us a favour in Germany? Dortmund will not want PSG to go through. I know that. Their fans will probably want to help Newcastle out. We got a strong affiliation with them over in Dortmund. I was lucky enough to be there. I do not think the French and the Germans today will be sipping together over pints in the market square with PSG's ridiculous marches and the ultras. Oh my God, cringy is what it is. Dortmund fans that want us to do us a favour. It's whether Dortmund choose to rest players, which I really hope doesn't happen. But the Europa League for me is certainly within our reach, at least, because I think we can beat this side. Now, team news. Who would I play? Who would I not play? Longstaff, for me, if you are fit, goes back into the team. Lewis Miley's been absolutely fantastic. Like, fantastic being an understatement for how Lewis Miley has played for us. He has been absolutely brilliant. Brilliant for such a young age. He's been class, and he's such a great player to have now in our squad. We know he can do it. He's someone to bring on. But Longstaff offers not only the donkey work that everyone associates to Longstaff, as if that's all the lad can do. Such a disservice. Those runs off the ball, he helps Almiron and Trippier so much down that right hand side in creating space for them. Longstaff, for me, comes back into this team. Our defence will pick itself. Trippier knows he's had 2 bad matches. If he cannot get himself up for AC Milan at home, then I don't know what match he can. He's a model professional. He's been nothing but wonderful for us. He needs to play better in this match, though. He does. I cannot sugarcoat it. AC Milan will try and hurt us from wide areas. He needs to play better. The rest of the players pick themselves. Livramento left back, of course. Lascelles and Shea will be our centre back partnership. Midfield, I've already said I want Longstaff, Bruno and Joe Linton, taking it back to the old school. Last season, the classic Dynamo 3. Now, forward positions, for me, Eddie Howe, I'll trust on this one. He sees what goes on in training. For me, Isak just isn't the same player at the moment. He got rushed back from injury we didn't have a choice. We could not keep playing Anthony Gordon there. Eddie Howe can preach all he wants that he would never rush a player back. When the injuries were as bad as they were, Isak was like, you're 80% fit, you're playing every match, because he didn't want Anthony Gordon down the middle. For me, if Isak is looking anything like he looked on Sunday, which was tired, leggy, not himself, not quick in the pass, not quick in the shot, not quick in bursts into the box, it's got to be Callum Wilson. It has. Some people might argue Callum Wilson's out of his depth in the Champions League. I think he's played so few minutes in the competition, that's not a fair statement to make. That really, really isn't a fair statement to make at all. He scores goals in the best league in the world. Why can't he do it in the Champions League? And any chance that we get, this is the important thing, we need a poacher. Callum Wilson will make something out of nothing, and we looked so much better on Sunday when he came on. So if Isak's not firing, he's on the bench for me. There's even an argument, if Eddie Howe feels fit to do so, Anthony Gordon on the right and Isak on the left, because Almiron in the last 2 matches, 3 matches if I'm being totally honest with you, has frustrated the life out of me. And I don't know, I know Theo Hernandez is probably not going to be playing at left back. Yes, we get the work rate from Almiron, we get that endeavour, that energy, that passion. We need quality to beat AC Milan at home. It's not going to be like PSG. We need quality. Oh, God, just thinking about this match. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. It's everything, this game. So that would be my team. I think there is a strong argument for Isak on the left and Gordon on the right. Whether Eddie Howe makes such a drastic change in such a big game to upset the apple cart, if you like, of what like Trippier's not used to having Gordon in front of him, for example. That's another conversation. But that would leave us a half decent bench. So if Longstaff comes in, you've then got Miley who can come on. You know, you've got, if Almiron doesn't play, he's on the bench. Isak could be on the bench. We now starting to have a couple of options to bring on, which is important. It is if we're going to get over the line in this one. So anyway, let's get into some black and white banter. Stats. There aren't too many stats on games like this. There really aren't, because, you know, we haven't played much against AC Milan. There's no history between the clubs as such. Our record against Italian teams in the Champions League more recently has been a little bit mixed. Anyone who's old enough to remember, luckily I am, will remember us beating Juventus. Andy Griffin got the winner at St James's Park when we had to play in the away shirts. And in the the second group stage as it was back then, Inter Milan, AC's closest rivals, came to St James's Park and they absolutely teared us a new one. They were 1-0 up after 2 minutes. We got battered 4-1. Bellamy got sent off. Shearer got suspended for an elbow that was spotted on the video cameras in the aftermath of the game. It was just an awful night. So we've been a little bit mixed more recently. Hopefully this can be a little bit better like Juventus was. 3 of Newcastle United's last 5 matches have had over 2.5 goals. But interestingly, AC Milan have not kept a clean sheet in their last 4 away games, which have all produced over 2.5 goals. And you know what that might mean tonight? Goals. So if we are going to do this and have a wonderful, memorable night at St James's, one of them, it might be a bit of a nail-biter with some goals at both ends, who knows. And lastly, a danger man that we talked about in the first game back at the San Siro, Olivier Giroud, the former Arsenal man, has actually got 9 goals in 15 games against Newcastle. So he is one, he knows St James's Park inside out. We will have to keep an eye on him. He will hold the ball up for them. He will be that poacher that I mentioned, Callum Wilson, hopefully will be for us. He's a danger. He is a danger. What am I going to go for in this one? I do think there's going to be goals. I'm going to go for Newcastle 3-1. That's what my head's saying. That's what my heart's saying. I don't know. I think we're going to be back up for this. We're going to be hurting from the last 2 results. The crowd plays such an important part, and that's me included, you included if you go to St James's Park tonight. It's a massive, massive game for this football club. It's huge. I'm nervous thinking about it. But I tell you what, for a bit of perspective, if you'd have offered me at the start of the season without injuries, 7th in the league going into Christmas, still having a chance of European football in the group of death and a cup quarter final a week later, I would have snapped your hand off because everything was so new to us and this fixture congestion was new to us. And I just wanted to finish with that because it just sometimes needs a bit of perspective. Yes, we've had 2 bad results, but fans need to stop going into a fucking meltdown because it scares me where this direction of the patience of fans and maybe the new breed of fans is going on social media just because we've lost a couple of matches. Yes, we need a standard, but my God, things are not that bad. They really, really aren't. Newcastle fans, let me know your predictions in the comments. Let me know what you do with the team. Let us know if you're going to St James's Park tonight. If you are, and you're watching this, I will be at the top of the Gallagher steps above the Milburn statue after the game. I love people to come over and jump on a video. I will be pestering people once the crowds die down. Come and say hello. Let's get behind the lads. Let's wave our flags. Let's sing until our voices break. And let's just see whether the boys can get us some more European trips abroad in the new year. Into these spaghetti eaters. Come on, Newcastle. And I'll see you on the next video. How are you, lads?